Welcome back everyone, I'm Genevieve Moongarden, and a fire spell has just been updated. It is Inferno Salamander. So previously this spell did 200 damage and then 630 damage over time. So right off the bat we got 5 damage less. Alright, so the previous overtime version where it did damage and then damage over time, without any boosts of course, not taking that into effect, the Tier 1 did 830 damage, Tier 2 did 870 damage, Tier 3 did 910 damage, Tier 4 did 950 damage, and Tier 5 did 995 damage total. With this current one, which is just the damage over time, it shows you what it does. It does 825 damage, 855 damage, 870 damage, 900 damage, and 915 damage. So to see the difference between those, the Tier 1 went down by 5 damage, Tier 2 went down by 15 damage, Tier 3 went down by 60 damage, Tier 4 went down by 50 damage, and Tier 5 went down by 80 damage. That's a lot. I mean, I don't prefer just damage over time because of course that means it's not going to hit on the initial turn. I personally just prefer the damage and then the damage over time. But it being fire, you know, some fires smolder, and apparently the Inferno Salamander is now one of those. Another comparison of differences: the original damage plus damage over time. Between Tier 1 and Tier 2, it increased by 40. Tier 2 and Tier 3, it increased by 40. Tier 3 and Tier 4 increased by 40. And Tier 4 and Tier 5 increased by 45 damage. For this new version, all of it obviously went down. So between Tier 1 and Tier 2, it goes up by 30 damage. Tier 2 and Tier 3 goes up by only 15 damage. Between Tier 3 and Tier 4, it goes up by another 30 damage. And between Tier 4 and Tier 5, it only goes up by 15 damage. Boo. Not my favorite thing. Now, of course, we were saying it's 900 damage. Well, it's easier. It looks more. Sort of like that whole, do you want to pay 99 cents or you want to pay $1? It's only 1 cent difference, but one of them looks better, right? Well, the 915 damage looks better, but I'd rather have 995 damage. And then if you use the 300 on that, that's over 1200 damage. So that's kind of got some feathers ruffled, but of course, we'll just have to see how this spell goes. And still, it is quite impossible to get the treasure card you need to craft the spell elements. The Inferno Salamander card that you need is 60 damage plus 690 damage over time. So far, with the second round of Beast Moon spells, which is what I refer to these, is because you get the ingredients to craft them and you get the spell elements themselves dropped from the Beast Moon and the Beast Moon seeds. Here's the deal. All of the new ones, Frost Feather, Golem Taunt, Inferno Salamander, Monster Mash, Obsidian Colossus, Sprite Swarm, and Thunderman, because trust me, I keep track of all this stuff. None of them drop their own treasure card, whereas the previous versions, Crimson Phantom, Dream Golem, Elemental Golem, Ether Golem, Glacial Golem, Infestation, Iron Curse, Legend Golem, Naph the Scarab, Stormwing, Thermic Golem, Thieving Dragon, Vermin Virtuoso, and Volcanic Golem, they all drop their treasure card. And of course that would be the treasure card that matches the spell, not a treasure card that previously existed. So yes, this one's been waiting quite a while to be crafted, but you can't right now. Same thing with the Monster Mash. Although I will say, they did change this to the Monster Mash that is the Beast Moon spell version, which is the 500 damage and then an increase of damage if the enemy has a negative ward. So thank you for finally fixing that. But now there's really no way to get this one except for crafting it at the Beast Moon Monster Mayhem. But there's another problem with that. That was the last Monster Mayhem actually did have the ability to craft the Monster Mash treasure card, but if you look at this Inferno Salamander, this is not the one that matches the recipe that you need. This is crafting the spell itself, which, I mean, that's fine if you wanted to do that. But I can't craft any spell elements to upgrade the spell with this. I need the damage and damage over time. And so far, according to the wiki, the one that's necessary for the recipe, the 60 damage and 690 over 3 rounds, that one is only available from the Winterland pack. Oh gee, I wonder how often that's available. Oh, I don't know, only during Yuletide. So please fix this. This is not okay. Because I know people have had a problem attempting to craft the spell elements for Inferno Salamander since it came out. So yeah, if you're going to give us the ability to craft them, then these treasure cards need to match the recipe, but they don't. So that's the big giant problem. Alright, so let's check it out. I wasn't going to boost it, but I forgot about this stupid bubble there. Alright, so let's check it out. No, well, okay. I wasn't going to boost it, but I forgot about this stupid bubble there. Okay, doing its job. I still prefer the initial damage first, but maybe they thought that fire already had too many of those. I don't know. Let's give it a boost. And yeah, for 6 pips, 1,000 is pretty nice. I'll go for that. You are definitely in big trouble, Hobgoblin. Oh, goodbye. Oops. I'm just too powerful. My wizards are not actually super OP. They're just lucky with the crit, I guess, but it just goes to show you that even though it's like, it's not very much damage, for 6 pips and no shadow pips, this is, to me, this is an amazing spell. Because the 312 damage with 1 blade and his aura here totally decimated that Jackal Bandit. Oh yeah, and crit. So there you go, without the blade, finally get to see some. So it's like 600 and then 700 something over time. Now the pet that gives you the Inferno Salamander card, this one has not changed. I obviously don't have it up high enough to even give this card yet, but this one still does the 60 damage and then 690 over 3 rounds. Thanks again everyone for checking out this video, looking at the changes to the Inferno Salamander learned spell, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!